Alright, good evening everyone, welcome to the channel. We are in Minecraft tonight. Well, we're actually now multiplayer stream, blah 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 blah. Our multiplayer server with our multi-channel stream. Hello there on Kick. Alright, yeah, so multiplayer stream. Waiting for the VTuber camera to catch up. So while that happens, there will be no VTuber, but it will join us later on. Okay, so if people want to come and join, it's a whitelisted server. You need to head on over to the Discord. Where did that go? Okay, Discord, where you will find a channel called Multiplayer Server Details, and there's a mod pack in there. In fact, there's a mod pack and 2 additional mods. If you install that and the 2 additional mods, there is also a YouTube video linked in the YouTube channel on Discord that walks through the process, plus the describes some of the main mods. Because why is that important? Because it's 121. It needs specific versions of Java and everything else. We've had all sorts of fun getting people onto the server in the past. But now that they can run the updated Java versions, the updated Minecraft versions. So we're basically running with that. So that's where we are. Then, sorry, once you get it installed, boot it up, the first time you try to run it, it may crash. And that's because there's a mod. I don't know which one it is, but one of the mods struggles on its first launch because it is either missing um, missing a config file, I think, and as a result, it can't find it and crashes and brings the whole game down. Simple fix, you just start it again because it'll have created the config file in the first launch, and then subsequently it's there, it'll start up. Come back to Discord, DM me your Minecraft username, I'll add you to the whitelist, and then you can access the server. That'll appear just like this. So basically it'll look like this. You'll see all the mods. Okay, it's gonna have a bit of a fit. There you go. You'll see all the different mods. Go multiplayer. You'll see the server sitting there waiting. And then once you're on the whitelist, it's a simple matter of joining. And if I'm on, I'll give you a tour through the world. Most people have other people that they've come along with, so I'm happy for other people to do the tour as well. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go creative because we are still doing some server builds. What I want to show people is what we achieved last week, which is, so first of all, let me just fly up and come over here. That looks like an element. So this is the world spawn. The original building that I created way back when, and this was done in survival, was the tower and hall. And that's sort of, if anyone's watched my Minecraft playthrough videos on YouTube, you'll have seen this appear in my hardcore playthroughs. It's my hardcore base design. The interior though is a lot more developed than usual, but the whole fenced in, so walled perimeter with the towers and stuff is the evolved hardcore design. So this is the full hardcore layout. I've then been filling in with buildings and stables and stuff to add life to it. So we've got our post office here where you go to acquire your post box and mailbox, and a quick map on the wall there. We have a stables and inn for the first, like for the early visits, and it's a chance to work out how NPC engagement works. We have a bank where, I mean, people can create their own, do their own exchange, but basically there's a server currency based on nuggets through to ingots, emeralds, and diamonds. And so when you go shopping at the server traders, they'll sell you items based on that. You know, storage warehouses. Got ourselves, it's around this side. Got ourselves. Okay, I can see when some people don't shut doors for some reason. The army barracks. And then down here, we've got the stables for the cavalry. World spawn nether portal. It did have an actual roof on the temple, but it looked kind of funny. Got a few bits and pieces of description hanging around here, as well as server farms, server economy, all that sort of stuff. These towers are fully reachable, so you can go all the way through. From the first floor, you can walk along the battlements, or go all the way to the top, sort of thing. If you give me half a second, the VTuber camera should be up. I just got to quickly do the motion capture, wait for that to come up. And of course, the model goes wonky. Now, I've been meaning to actually update the software I'm using for that. But I haven't got around to it. I've always meant to, just for whatever reason, haven't done it. Okay, there we go. We are up, we are in, and we are rolling. So, there I am. Hello. Okay, back to game. So, go away that person. Right. So yeah, that's basically it. Then underneath the tower here, I've got a mine. In fact, a little bit. I mean, there's upstairs to the, like all of the buildings have full interiors, including my tower hall. For a change, isn't normally done up, but it is now. It hasn't been developed really as yet. In fact, I think I'm going to turn this floor into a study. That's one of the plans for today. And yeah. But underneath, and this is, again, people who've watched my YouTube videos on my main channel will have seen my underground storage hall, a quick workshop area, my farms, which are not fully developed. There's usually a pumpkin and melon paddock there. In my normal playthroughs, there's a trading hall and villager breeder out this way, and then out this way is my animal farms, which again haven't been finished. Downstairs is my mine access. Now this, because of the layout of the map, is very, very wet, so I've made this a enchantment room and some permanent lava. And what you can see through there is actually a mob dropper. So we come back out of there. Down here are one side of the mines, and here's the other side. So we'll come down, go into the mob dropper. And so I built this. It's a two layer. Yeah, because that's in between. So it's a 2-layer mob dropper. And come around this side, drop all the way down through here, and basically you've got your single hit. Simple basic mobs. It should be set up not to have spiders, but sometimes they do spawn in. And I do have to dig this out to full depth. But then further down is another layer which will have the full kill distance. So basically it'll drop for an instant death and just be for collecting items. Okay, and yeah, basically you can swim out through there. This was all done in survival too. That was a lot of sand. But the idea is, and what I've been putting effort into, is making the server feel like it's lived in. Like there's services and farms and factories and shops, that sort of stuff. So we'll step through the portal. The very first, and this is the portal I built. Sorry, actually no, it's not. I moved it up. First portal I built actually came in to us. Yeah, that kid. Into the fortress. So head down to the fortress. A couple of stairs down. These corridors are mob safe. You pop out down onto a working level. If you want to head for the fortress, it's around this way, and this is where the actual initial portal ended up. It's actually back that way a little. Generally it's full of mobs down here, but basically push the button, go in, have fun. There's a button on the other side to get back out. But down this way we have a blaze spawner, and again this is all put in the hard way. And down here we have a blaze spawn farm for XP and blaze rods and stuff. Now, as long as you're not standing right at the very end, you should be safe. And basically, the blazes, because they've got nowhere else to spawn above, will spawn into the channels. And then you go through and hit them with a stick or a sword, whatever. They'll drop XP and blaze rods, and away you go. Nice and simple. We initially had just corridors like this up top to lead to everybody's bases. So in the overworld, some of the bases are like 4,500 blocks apart. So in order to make it expeditious to get to it, now we have spawn protection on and claim protection on, that sort of thing. The corridors are actually about here. And so you went that way. But what I did was I turned it into a train station. So we ended up putting rail systems in. Annoying kid. I hit him with a stick. Right. These guys that turned around, they should be facing this way. Anyway, so you got our ticket sellers. Alright, how does it work? The destination boards show you which line to take to get to a certain player's base. You buy a ticket for a gold nugget. You then give it to the conductor. He'll give you a minecart. So you come over here, find which player you want to go and visit, and it'll give you a platform and a line to take. Okay, you got a cafe over here. So you buy your ticket, talk to the conductor. Alright, then come through. I've got to put some NPCs on here. Put your minecart down, jump in, give it a push, and basically you head off. And, well, if you know where you're going to stop, you jump out at the appropriate spot. Oh, I know what's the problem. It was not in dialogue. It was in actions. Distance. Done. So now there should be no action. Right. So back through the world spawn. Now in people's claims protected areas, you can't do anything. Can't break blocks, can't open chests, can't do open doors, etc. What you can do is you can go through portals. So hence the Nether Highway. Now in the overworld, I've spent quite a bit of time setting up a living world, so to speak. So you follow in the overworld these paths, or in deserts, it's deserts and mesa, it's coarse dirt, and you'll see that over there. Every river crossing has a unique bridge that you can row a boat under. So this path here takes you down to the server farms, the food farms and stuff. One of our players set up a nice little resupply spot. So you come through your little walk through the jungle, and you appear and you walk through the major farm. On the right, we've got melons and pumpkins. On the left, our beetroot. As we move forward, we come through the sugarcane. Now, each of these paths is also a single block height. So you can ride or walk without issue through the entire network. And when you zoom out, each of the bases and stuff is connected via an overland path, highway. So we've gone all the way down. In fact, we'll take our time today because we've got, I'm avoiding doing work. Yeah, so down here. Now, each of these crop areas is actually properly planted. So the sugarcane is growing properly because it's got adjacent irrigated blocks. The beetroot is growing properly because of that. And it's got gates. Where the gates? There's a gate over here. So you can see where the gates are. It's coarse dirt to come in. And it basically, you think you're going to drive a tractor or something up here, and you want to access the melon paddock, which is out the back. You come through, head down here. There's your fenced access to the pumpkin paddock, and then your melon paddock out the back. There we come down. So you can see the farmhouse and the barn. We'll just zip down there a little bit faster. So you're not going to go and harvest this stuff. Thank you very much. Instead, you come up here and you talk to the kids manning the farm produce. So what happens is, if you've got stuff you want to trade for currency, you talk to this kid, and he'll buy off you at a certain rate. And then if you want to buy stuff, you talk to the older kid, who buys at a slightly worse rate. So you can't make infinite money off these two kids. They're smarter than that. Now, I said all the buildings have developed interiors, including upstairs and stuff, including there's a well and the barn here. And over the back here, we've got our carrot field, carrot paddock, and then further out the back is the the potato paddock, and then there's a monster wheat paddock. And yep, it's all fully irrigated, and basically the irrigation makes it look like someone's driven a tractor through the fields. But yeah, it's proper irrigated, and it's been terrain fixed so it only goes up one block per thing. So the other side of things over here. We've got our dye farm and dye trader. So they've got their little tiny little hut, and then basically you're supposed to come around the side though. Down here's the actual flower fields with all 16 dyes represented, and then their workshop here where they're drying the flowers out and getting the dyes and all that sort of stuff. So the NPC will go in there. Haven't put them in just yet. And if you keep coming this way, across this bridge, again, unique, you come to the bakery, which is for baked goods. There's a couple of people there having some cookies and stuff. You trade with the baker for various cooked goodies, and the whole place is properly developed. So at the back is the actual kitchen bakery, and you go further out, the storage area and the chimneys and stuff. Then in through here we've got the silos, which don't have anything in them at the moment, with the crane to bring stuff up. And then we've got our miller, who turns the wheat into flour, etc. So again, goes all the way up with various millstones and everything else connected in. And you've got the Dutch style windmill at the moment with the what do they call them? Blades furled. So we've done crops. We haven't yet gotten to the animals. So we keep making our way through. Again, there's some terraforming required to make the paddocks make some sense and not have excessive block differences like have the entire thing. Make more of a rolling hill type thing. I mean, Minecraft terrain's not too bad, but it wasn't flat enough for even rolling hills. And you come down through the animal paddocks. So on the left here we've got sheep, over the back with the little shelters of the horses. On the right here we've got pigs, sheep, more sheep. We've got a couple of fallow paddocks. So pigs, no hang on, pigs in the front field. That's just at normal animal spawn there. You can see like where the gates are, it's all muddy as the animals have traipsed through. A couple of fallow paddocks. Got cows down here, and then at the back we've got horses again. And the same out over this side. You've got your little paths between the paddocks to be able to move the animals. You got your pigs and the cows down there. Come back down here. So why the sheep are here at the front is the shearing sheds. What are you doing? Why are you there? Anyway. Yeah, I get you. So the shearing sheds, the unsheared sheep come in. There's the shearer's stand. There's the wool for grading. And then they push the sheared animals back out the back. Come down, we'll look at these in just a minute. So down here, as we come across, we head towards, again, unique bridge. Head towards these structures. You've got the chook sheds for all the chickens. Up here we've got the dairy, so the cow sheds, the milking sheds. And then the rancher. Well, the farmer, animal farmer. So they live in a kind of a ranch style house. Nice big open areas, bedrooms, everything else. Got a rotary clothesline. Got their horse out the back. And while it's not bridged, that's where a fisherman lives over there. So let's head back to these places over here. So because you've got animal products and everything else coming through here, we've got shops that are based off animal products. So for example, the bookseller, because books are made from sugarcane and leather. Yes, morale to you too. So you can trade regular stuff, so books and quills, paper and empty maps. But if you want rare and enchanted, you go through the door marked private. They've got their little storeroom out the back. But you go upstairs, and here's the rare bookseller. And they're quite expensive, but they're really good enchantments if you don't want to enchant them yourself. Yes, morale. Now, that's not all of the building. Out the back here is a tiny little apartment, little flat. And basically this is the supply side to the shops where they drop off all the goods and everything else. So come back around the people side. So that was the bookseller. Next one along is the wool mill. So they'll sell wool related products, but they are very basic color options. So white, grey and white, light grey, and black banners, black beds. He's got a storeroom as well, but because he's a working mill and there's wool coming from the shearing sheds, he's got his actual wool mills upstairs, complete with a crane to bring the goods up. Next door, you've got the tanner. So you're looking at leather goods. So he sells leather, armor, saddles, leads, wolf armor, turtle shells, and raw materials, and we'll buy leather. And then out the back, you got the tannery, where basically the leather's being turned into, well, usable leather. And then he's got his little store area up top. Next one along is the butcher. He sells basically animal-based food products. Now, he has probably the best trade on the server at the moment, which is 1 gold ingot for 64 steak. So you get a stack of cooked steak for a gold ingot, and that gives you the best saturation for coin per trade anywhere else. So he's got his storage there, obviously the butchery out the back here, and out the back further he's got his supply drop off. And other traders have got ender chests sitting near them, so you can, if you're oversupplied with your gear, you can still come and trade. Of course, you got animal products have to get to usable form somehow. So what we have in here is the abattoir. So the animals come over the hill over there and are then placed into the different holding pens, and then are moved through the gates, across the floor, around the corner where they can't see what's going on. You can guess what happens right here, and then they pass in here where they get processed and broken down into the various bits and pieces. They get stored in the cold room before all their meats and other products are picked up, dropped off at the shops or elsewhere, or taken down here to the warehouses by the docks. Ah, a rowboat. Did I leave that there? And you got just random storage in here. Alright, so that's like the server farm room. So that's the second thing I built. We'll come back up here. Go this way over the bridge. Now, I haven't got road signs up, but I should. So there's a fork in the path here. Basically, there's some stuff off that way. You can go this way, or you can loop around the right side. Eventually, you'll connect up again. But this takes you through to the glassworks and kilns. So because in the desert, lots of sand, there's clay, some clay deposits nearby because there's a lush cave, then it makes sense to have it as a kiln and glassworks. And basically you see that it's all walkable, it's a very clear path. So you can keep carrying on around the main path or come down to visit the glassworks and kilns. You come around the side, you see the finished products, their raw material stacks, and their kilns out the back, basically. And they've got a small sale room out the front. But, like I said, they've got sand, but they need more stuff, so they've got an active mine down here. You come down. You got a portal over there to the nether for the netherrack to make nether brick and red nether brick. And then over here you've got a couple of small clay deposits back there, but down here you get your major clay deposits. And you can see where the miners have dropped tools while they're working on it. So it's like it makes sense. It's not just a case of I'm magicking in a farm right here. It's got supply chains, it's got reasons for being where it is, and it all makes sense. Now I'm not gonna walk this little path, but the path loops around. We'll see this bridge in a minute. There's another shop up here. We'll come back this way because there's something out this way to show later on. I'm going to go to the very first thing I built on the server after the world spawn. It's not a thunderstorm, no. And that is the tree farm. And the arborist. Yep, right, yep, you're a little bit too close. So basically, this included a bit of a mountain, dug it all out by hand in survival mode, and this is every single overworld tree type. Now the double chests at each end have numerous logs and saplings and stuff, but there's every single overworld tree type represented. Now because it's a vanilla block set, there's no new tree types, but what you do have is the forester, and this is the first house I built, and sadly I didn't actually do the interior. I think I did the upstairs. Yeah, the upstairs is not half done. And he's got a balcony to look out over the rain and everything else. There were going to be some docks down here, but I haven't put them in. Oh, seriously, what is it with the torches today? And then he's got his own little cellar storage area. Out the back though, he's got his little workspace, and a backpack and stuff. So does he have his trades? No. So basically you'll bring in a stick and a log of the tree type and he'll give you a stack of saplings of that particular tree type. But yeah, they're fairly easy enough to come through. Now, you've got wood products here, so what are you going to do with all the logs and stuff that come through? Well, of course, you're going to have a lumber yard and wood products. So we have ourselves a water mill. So the water wheel spins, axle comes through. You got your race and everything down out here, so you got your big water wheel, which drives the spindle for our belt-driven tools in here. Here's our wood sales desk area, production area, drying racks, and here we've got a log being turned into the initial timbers for drying. And around the back, you got your raw material logs just being air dried for now. So again, I've yet to put the NPCs in a bunch of areas. You come down this way. And I didn't do any other terrain modifying. The paths largely follow the terrain. They're pretty decent in terms of that they look good. They make a sensible path. They're walkable, they're rideable. Quite a good view from a lot of places, to be honest. Now that would have been a bridge back there. But up here we have a bridge. So we come through. Okay, across this gap. Right, close that off. So you follow the path. And here's the branch. There's no sign, but if you follow the right branch, you end up, you can kind of see on the map because it kind of gives it away, but you come up a massive, onto a plateau. You can see there's a massive building there. A massive workshop, factory type thing. On the right here, we've got armor and weapons. So obviously there's metalworks. So that implies that there's metal around. Again, I haven't put the NPCs in there. You got the horse area on the left for horse armor being applied. This is the mines and metallurgy sales and hard stone sales. So you're going to have your metal sellers, your gold sellers, etc. on the left. Out here you've got you're going to have your stonemasons working away with your equipment and stuff. And if you come up this way, you've got your gems and other metallurgy working. And basically the idea is that this material will flow down to the sales beneath. And there's distribution chambers and panels and stuff. And all the way up here is the overseer's office. So you can keep an eye on everything. But yeah, you got a pathway for so the raw material comes out of the hopper here, taken down a conveyor through the ore crusher, then mixed with required chemicals. You've got a variety of hard stones already. This then flows down here. Can also flow down this side as well. Then enters the furnaces and then is either piped up and out through the through the distribution pipes up here where it enters more furnaces or production sites. Down here we have access to the mines, so you come through, you got your miners have change rooms, and then out the back here there's showers and stuff. You come up the stairs and you enter onto the mining platform. Basically the hoppers come in, drop their ores. Out here you've got the access to the nether mine, and this is 4 chunks carved out all the way to bedrock. There is a set of stairs in one corner, a ladder in the other. These aren't quite finished, but it goes all the way down to bedrock. And yep, these will be turned into tunnels properly at some point. And miners, and I haven't finished filling that in, but if you go all the way up the top, if you were to walk up to it, up the outside, you'll actually see that it's all safety fenced off, and in fact there's safety signs and warning, deep pit, active mining, all that sort of stuff. But you come back down to the main path and keep descending. You then hit a mesa area, so it's back to coarse dirt. Again, just follows it through, follows around. Again, unique bridge, path around. And then transitions to dirt, then back to a mesa. We then have a couple of options. There's a valley pass this way, where you go through a pass. We will go through the pass. And it comes up, winds up through here, becomes path again, and pops through out this side to where we have our potion cellar, i.e. beer and wine, brewery and winery. So here's our wines being made, going through all the crushers, then into the fermentation rooms and storage rooms, and on the other side we've got our wheat and hop barley and hops coming through, as well as our botanicals for gins and things like that, coming through into the kettles, mash and all the other bits and pieces, and being turned into the beers. So there's our potion cellars. We keep coming this way a little bit further, and we spot the one unique path, which is actually stone, or cobblestone and gravel. So we walk up, like all the other paths, it's only a single block per step. An altitude change, this comes up, we zip our way around, it gets narrower, but stays. Every time it goes under a tree, it sort of gets a bit mossy, goes up, up, winds its way up. Hello, Mr. B. I'm not going to look up just yet. I know it's up top. Comes up, up. Cross a rickety bridge, comes up again, across a more stable bridge, comes up, and you reach the Artificer's Tower, which is basically a wizard's tower. But the Artificer sells. Now there was some redstone here that someone poured a bucket of water on and broke, but they sell redstone and redstone products. But because they're an Artificer, they've got, well, there's their storage, but they have their experimental chambers. So here's a 3-level experimentation chamber that was sort of set up for minecarts and rails. Next level up, he's got like auto harvesting, auto shearing setups. And this one's actually a higher chamber. This used to have, well, these lights used to flash, which got very, very annoying very, very quickly. So they've been disabled. Come through here, and you end up in the Artificer's waiting room. And then if you come through here again, you end up in his private quarters. which is at the top of the tower. So there. Okay, so next stop is back down on the paths. So you can see the path appearing now. Okay, so we're going to just zip along. Don't have to walk it. This is going to, actually, no, we'll go this way. There's no bridges, but I will show that these connect to people's bases. In fact, we'll go back over the pass and we'll take the valley path. We aren't finished in terms of server shops. There's one more yet to come. But okay, so we're back down to the Y point. And so this path then goes to the valley floor down through this valley. And there's a player who has their base off to the right, a little bit further up. So we'll hit a point where the path will branch. Right here. And basically if you turn right, follow the path this way. Well, in fact, that looped around. In fact, it's the second path. And then you've turned right again. You'll then ascend to the mine, up to basically this player's claim, and basically the path ends just outside the claim because I can't build into the claims. So this player's got his base there. He's got his portal up there connected to the nether highway, that sort of thing. And you can always go over land if you're really keen on just enjoying the server ambiance. So this path continues through the base of the valley, avoiding big holes wherever possible. And it's quite a scenic route. Yep, starts winding its way further east, where we're going to have to rest again. Basically cuts straight across this bottom of the valley, and we come up into a small wooded area, back changed biomes, and descends again, and ends at this player's claim. Now, what I'm going to show is how insane some of the builds that our players have put together are. So knock that off. So his claim, he started building over there on this platform there, but came in here, carved out this massive space that used to be his original portal over there. But this is a massive cube that he's been carving out. He's got his nether wart farms, and because he has a lot of red nether brick in his builds. And so he flattened this platform. This was his initial space that he was building in. He's going to build over there as well. He came up here, started flattening this platform, and he did all this in survival. Spent an inordinate amount of hours on it. Now, people can stream from the server if they want to, and he was certainly streaming his sessions while he was doing it. Then he sort of started coming down here. He discovered that underneath, I think this building, it leads to a deep dark city. And then you come out this way. He hasn't pathed just yet, but connects, and this is where his main build started going in. He's got a zombie dropper here, and then he basically started building a Roman port, a Roman era port. So yeah, done all this with in survival. He's made a lot of red nether bricks, made all this, built his absolutely enormous dock area, And in fact, when you portal into his zone from the Nether Highway, you actually portal onto the ship out here again, which he built from scratch. So yeah, you portal in there, and so you come through here, up the ladder, and you're introduced to his build from out here. So yeah, and obviously it's all protected. So even though he hasn't played for a while, people can't come and muck with his build. You need to be him in order to modify blocks, open chests, do that sort of thing. So I take people out here to show them the sort of stuff that people get up to on the server. And I think he's locked away a lot of his villagers in here for tradies to keep them safe. So we'll just jump back. There. So back onto the road. This is actually the first bridge I built on the server. Very terrible. But this then loops back to the connect. If you turn left, go that way, you end up back at the kiln and glassworks, and then back to the world spawn over there. But if you go this way, you end up, again, more bridges over canyons and stuff. Up this way, around the edges, and you end up at the concrete and terracotta sales. So again, you got your raw material stacks, and then your kilns to fire your terracottas, etc. Now, before going any further, that loops back around, connects to back to the world spawn. Kind of two minds which way I want to show you first. There's some more build areas out here. These I haven't connected in on the highway just yet. But if we come back to the tree farm, the path actually comes down the east side of it. Okay, it goes through the jungle, etc. Wait for this to catch up. Alright, we zip through. And again, it's the sort of thing you can spend a good day or so just enjoying walking or riding your horse through, or a pig, through the environment, because the paths are nice and gentle in terms of climbing. There's a pit here. There's a reason I put a fence. Or did someone else put that fence in? I think someone else put that fence in. Because normally there'd be, I only put fences where there's pits. So you climb up the hard way and ride through Cherry Grove. Come out the other side. Back up over the top. Okay, follow the path. Again, you start descending off the backside. Now there's a fence here because there's a whopping great big pit just off the side of the path that you don't want your horses to fall into. Okay, climbs back up, goes through a nice alpine area. Okay, picks its way through the pass here. Start descending out the other side. Works its way through. And again starts descending. Alright, well, I'm just trying to work out where the next branch is. Okay, fairly basic type bridge. Again, still very unique. Alright, now we branch. In fact, we'll take this branch. And so there's 3 or 4 players over here who are working together. This path will eventually take you to their bases. Through some savanna, up and around. And so the difficulty is there's actually a fair bit of planning needed to try and work out how to adequately, safely path and bridge. So natural village. Goodbye, Mr. Enderman. Okay, we zip through. Up the hill. Out over the top. And we start connecting through to the next set of player bases. There's a base there. There's 2 bases off that way. And I don't think I did. So there was actually a bridge, path here. So if you turn right, nope, that's going back. I knew I did it wrong. Here, there's a branching path here, which then takes you up the other side, up the ridge on the other side, because there's a player who then went and put their base out over here and connects. So the guys over there basically are building a treehouse fort type thing on the top of the jungle, connecting through down here, and the player down here has got himself like a hobbit house. We'll keep going south, so back to the initial branch, track to the left, and this is actually the last, well, second last bridge I built. Coming up, okay, goes through a bit of a valley, goes past some lava, starts climbing up again. We can see up ahead is a cherry grove. Climb up into the cherry grove. Try and take it as smooth a pass as possible. They're remarkably pointy underneath. Move around, and you can start seeing there's an enormous bridge coming up. The reason for that is you pop out here, you pop onto this bridge. Massive suspension bridge, because we have ourselves a monster of a canyon that has to be crossed. That just, yep, you've got to get across somehow. So we did that, big suspension bridge going across, and then you descend down the other side. And sort of starts entering, got some interesting caves and stuff showing up around the place. We enter into a tiger, whatever. Move around this way. Not too many bridges down here, just some really difficult pathing to avoid the big trees and avoid big descents and climbs. But the path actually takes a detour coming through here on purpose, because there's you'll see in just a sec why. Like originally would have gone all the way around the back that way. Instead, I turn it left and we climb up the hill. And we don't just go around, we climb all the way up, because you suddenly pop out into this amazing caldera type setup where you've got this massive set of canyons and caves, etc. So a bit of a scenic detour. I mean, the whole thing's been scenic detour tonight, to be honest. So yeah, monster caves down there, and a little river through the bottom. It's just, when I saw that, I'm like, yep, I've got to build the road to go past it. So we go through keep descending back down. Path keeps going through, up over the hill, drops down again. We start winding our way through. We see snow starting to appear. Go through a small forest, and then we're into the snowy zones. We've got a mainly stone bridge crossing here. Dig our way through. Conveniently, snow doesn't settle back on paths. Past a shipwreck to one of my favourite bridges, which is a covered bridge, which I think is really worked quite well. Come through the other side, keep moving through, and this is actually a bridge that one of our players built. He calls it the Naruto Bridge, and I shudder to think how long he took to do all this. Again, done all in survival. When you see his base, I think he's had enormous amounts of blocks and lava to smelt them with that he otherwise wasn't using. So yes, I had a bridge designed to come across the ocean here, but he went and did it himself. I'm like, all right, cool, you do that. And in fact, I think we get to the other side here, and I had bridge pathing. Is that? Yeah. So my bridge pathing initially went up this way. Like actually came down through here, crossed here, came this way, and he's like, no, I got this, and builds that. So I basically ripped out all of this stuff. In fact, I think the path was going to come down here. Yeah. So ripped it all out, let him do the building. Unfortunately, when he first built it, he built it one block too low, and so you couldn't fit through on a horse. And then it reconnects to my pathing down here. Again, to another little bridge, another fancy bridge. It loops through, again, enjoying the environment. Hops over a hill, coming up. I think he did that. This way, goes through a forest. There's a couple of little creek crossings. Goes past a big ruined portal. It winds its way through. Now this has taken like an hour plus to describe and fly through. It took enormous amount of times to build, and it's like I said, it's really enjoyable to do it by foot or by boat. By horse. Okay, nice simple bridge. Keep moving through. Go this way. This little mixed terrain was quite difficult to pick a way through initially. Got to go past a lake, which was nice. And then we pop through and you see his build, start of his build. And these bridges are his, this one and the one over there as well. He's got this lovely mix of big, massive house. He's got himself a big castle. He breeds horses and whatnot. He has a statue to a guinea pig. It's supposed to be a horse, but I call it a guinea pig. He had this incredibly, not skilled, incredibly statted horse that somehow died. He's got obviously tons and tons of stone mined out to build all this stuff, and he's got access to massive amounts of stone. So that's basically the southern extent of the bases. Work our way back up. Big bridge. We've covered these guys. Move back through. This guy up here is actually building a mansion in the sky, in the clouds, and that's actually been working. Looks like he's been in and out a little bit. A bit more development, and in fact I have the ability to like create NPCs and traders. So he's got a couple of traders in there who basically sell him the raw materials he needs for this, because I'm not obnoxious to my players. I'm actually very benevolent. People play it, can play it completely vanilla. They can ignore all the add-ons and mods because they're all selectable. and they can play it as is, or they can play it more as almost creative with how cheap resources are on the server, and the fact that if people ask nicely when I'm around, I'll give them pretty much whatever they're asking for. So this player's got a nice little um, little base going in here, and out this way, he's made himself I think this is an end portal type chamber. Now this isn't an end portal that was before. He built all this and basically explained what he wanted to do. We'd already found the end, so I basically gave him the blocks to make an end portal chamber, which is actually really, really, really cool. And the fact that if you need shulker boxes, you just go to the shop, go to the post office at the world spawn, and then there's shulker boxes available there. Elytra, yeah, I don't stop people using Elytra. They can use it if they want. There's no limits on things like that. So we come back over here where the concrete and terracotta sails are. And we've got this loop path that connects back through. We'll just jump ahead slightly. And then we move through down here. And head our way down, across the gap through here. I think this is the last set of locations we need to go and sort of show off before I've really got to start pretending to do some work. Enters the forest here. Where's the split off here? Right. So the NPCs are basically options for people to add to their builds and things like that. So we've got a little bridge here, and what I've got is the sleeping bag from the backpack, a campfire. I've got an NPC with a fishing rod, so he's down here fishing. Path splits again. If we go further south, and we head through the savannah here, should be on the path. We zip through this way, and we hit yet another bridge, and if we carry on down that way, we hit another player's base, and I'm not sure how much above ground versus underground work they've done. Now, I don't limit what players can and can't do. You've already seen that there's a variety of building styles and concepts around the server. All I say to players is, look, if you position yourselves far enough away from each other that the designs can't be seen or don't clash, then that's not a problem. So you're not forced to have somebody who's doing a Roman era build clashing with somebody who's planning on doing a cyberpunk era build, that sort of thing. That way it gives players the scope and the room to make their mega builds that don't run into each other. And yet people are still close enough for it to feel like the server's lived in. And obviously there's the farms and factories and traders and stuff that I've put in. So we're going to cross the bridge here. Little farm off to the little village off to the left. We'll come around to the right. Here's a house I put in. I've got houses yet to come in that I'm going to put in, and so this is kind of like a converted barn type thing from the initial design I saw. The hard thing is with a limited block palette, trying to keep it within livable size, like within reasonable size, and still keep all the architectural features that are the reason why I picked those designs to build in the first place. So right now we've got basically, I guess it's kind of a granny flat type thing. Small seating area, small bathroom, that's the bedroom. So basically a small separate flat. There's the main house with, don't fall in the pool. And this is actually a design I've seen, of like an actual house I've seen. Not interiors of necessarily, the outdoor photos of about 3 outdoor photos. I'm like, well, that's cool. There's the lounge, your dining room straight off the indoor, your kitchen, the downstairs study, and if you head upstairs, you got another sitting area, your bathroom, big shower, a bedroom, and down here you've got your walk-in closet and ensuite, and then your master bedroom. But yeah, getting this to fit in Minecraft scale and make it feel the appropriate size for what the actual build was just, some of the times it doesn't translate very well. And then I flattened this platform off, and you've got your grass lines, which I thought was actually kind of cool because it's moss blocks and grass blocks, which makes it look like you've got your mow lines. So yeah, if you turn your render distance up, you see across the forest, mesa in the long distance, um, savanna off in this direction, water down this way, etc. So we'll keep carrying on through the path. And so when I'm going to build out, I've done all the big builds. So I'm going to have a number of houses and other buildings just scattered around that I've had plans to build really since day one. But I've spent all this time filling in server infrastructure and designs for people. Look, yet another bridge design. This particular path was very hard to put in. The only reason this comes south is to join this little village. But this one up through here was a lot of planning, because trying to find a way to climb up here that was enough to be 3 wide, but only ever went up 1 block at a time. Went through the pass here, descended, climbed back out. Basically, you had to get from there over to here, but terrain was not forgiving at any of the water lines. So we end up with some very unique bridges that, again, they're all anchored to the bottom, all make sense in terms of how they're structured. Come back through, and we now descend to a viable water crossing at sea level, and we've got ourselves a nice little box girder bridge. So we come through. The path then wends its way through, again trying to find a smooth enough path to get through. Nicely designed, like a bit of a meadow to walk through. Come through, descend down the far side here. Again, this was fairly difficult to do. Okay, all the way across. And we stop here because their claim is basically starting on the mountain. So then they can come back and connect to the highway. The one last thing where I have not connected and will not connect it to the Nether Highway, because it's designed to be a government type agency, like a cross between a DMV and I guess a Social Security Administration or something like that. The sort of thing that you know that you're going to lose a day just by walking in through the front door, and you're still going to walk out of it having received 0 help. It's taken me a few weeks. I've had this plan in mind for ages. Like, I've had the design in my head of wanting to build something in this particular building style for months. Now, it finally got to the point I was able to build it, having knocked off enough of the other things, like players coming in, connecting their bases, etc. Got to the point I was like finally able to build it, and I felt terrible for having built it. But anyway, so we come back, and there's a branch there. This is one that pretty much has to be followed. There's no shortcuts. So you follow the path all the way through, goes through the savannah. I did have a player come and visit, and they just went direct. They saw on the map where I was and just went, and it still took them like a day to get there in game. So we moved through, up, down, through, and around, cross through here, down, 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 through. Okay, the path hooks around a big ravine. Starts coming up close to another village on the left there. And then we have yet another unique bridge. So we cross to the far side, keep moving through, and then transition into a desert. Keep moving through the desert, wait for it to catch up. There we go. Move down, around, loop around the outside of this desert temple, which is all lit up, so there's no mobs will come out and scare you. Move through, move through, move through. Okay, yet another unique little bridge. I planted some sugarcane next to it. There's a town, a village up there. But as we come through here, these paths, and I never realised that the desert villages had roads, paths through them. They do. It's actually a smooth sandstone path, which I hadn't realised before I put the road in. So this connects to those roads in a couple of locations and then carries on. Like I said, the idea is it's not meant to be easy to come out and see this place. Okay, the path winds its way through, up and over and through. We go around this mountain, through the back, around. We keep going. Start heading down to the waterline, go between two lava pools. Then actually go up this mountain because we want to go, well, kind of have to go through the swamp, through the mangrove. And I didn't realise this mangrove basically sat directly on top of stone. So a bit of a nightmare, a bit of a dark, difficult way through. Tiny bit of grass. Pick our way back through. Up here to the right. And we can start to see the monstrosity. That is the Department of NPC Affairs. And I've spent a bit of time fixing the base and stuff. What we have though is our Department of NPC Affairs. We've got our big waiting room down here. I've got to put a couple of secretaries and receptionists down here. But here's our bland and boring waiting room. Come back through. Got bathroom, toilets down each end, got fire escapes, and got our lifts, which aren't working. So, if we want to go places, we have to take the fire escape, which we do, and pop out into the most depressing feeling thing I have ever built. And it felt horrible the whole time I was doing it, but it just had the right feel. Now, before I even put these cubicles and stuff in, it was miserable. I'll look at that last. So you come around the backside, we've got tech areas, got labs, lab A, we've got a staff break room, we've got toilets, ladies get 3 cubicles, men get 1, plus one of those. We've got a second tech area on this side, set up pretty much just the same. Then we come back out onto the main floor. Got your execs sitting down here, so your senior staff sitting there, and your senior your senior execs in the slightly bigger room. And the same on the other side. And then you've got your NPC zone set up. So you come off the lifts, which aren't working, but they have the chains and counterweight type set up. It's all set up properly. So you come off your lift and you hit your reception area. So there'll be receptionists sitting here, and basically you have four main clusters of NPC types. Excuse me. So you'll have your military NPCs down here, your professions, admin in the middle here, maybe some more scattered through, your civilians, and your religious types, so your wizards and things like that. Each of those four zones is set up exactly the same as each other. So you've got your desks at the front, you've got your lovely beige walled areas, a couple of bookcases, you've got 6 desks at the front, got a small path in the middle, then you've got a cluster of 4 at the back, and repeat it again. And then the middle gap here, you actually have, so this was where the receptionists were sitting. So these are like overflow. Down the middle of the floor, you've got like compactuses, so file storage, that sort of thing. Seriously, if you've ever worked in an office building like this, I'm probably giving you bad memories. So what happens is you'll come in, you'll have a chat to the reception staff. They'll tell you the likely breakdown. They'll give you a book and quill. You fill it out, and then you come back and you mail it to a specific destination. I'll get that mail and assign you the NPCs you've requested. The books will also ID where I can find it, and I've found like 90% of them, the author or the designer and skin file associated. So if you wanted to go and get it yourself for your own servers and things like that, it'll tell you basically who made it and where to go get it. So yeah, exactly the same otherwise. And so, like I said, the professions. So there's like your bakers and whatever else, and your stonemasons, all those other things. And then your military down here, and a repeat of the slightly different decorations in the back room, but otherwise exactly the same. And so the floors are exactly the same layout, exactly the same. It's currently 2, 3, 4, 5 floors of nightmare, and so basically that's then it'll clone its way up. So 5 floors of nightmare. What it has though is each of these floors represents a genre or era in terms of NPC design, skin design. So the first floor is probably going to be Roman era. Then we'll have like a medieval / high fantasy. Then there might be a modern. We have a cyberpunk, obviously. There's going to be probably Napoleonic type thing or Renaissance, so that people can mix and match or have their own eras that they're playing with, their own little designs that they're mucking around in. That obviously some other person can have skins that fit the era of the build they're putting together. So hence the layout being exactly the same, so that you can go from level to level, gathering, knowing where to look for the skin you're after. And of course the building is grey and grey windowed, and even from the outside it just looks miserable. And then down here you've got a miserable waiting room. And around the back, even the bathrooms down here don't have windows, fire escapes at the back. It's just, yeah, designed to be hard to get to, designed not to be fun. Yeah, so there's the Department of NPC Affairs, which is the most recent thing, second most recent thing I've built. The most recent thing I put in was the Nether Rail Hub. I mean, I'd already had it set up. It's just turning it into a central rail terminus and making it look sensible, which some people say I struggle to do anyway. All right, let's get my NPC stuff set up. Okay, so you're going to put one there, one there. Nope, get. There we go. Okay, so we're going to add. I don't think it's going to have saved. We're in the overworld again. So yeah, these are the skins that exist in the overworld. Not sure. I don't think that's one of them. No. Okay. So we're going to grab our receptionist. I don't like that one. A little bit better. I'll use that. Okay. So we change the name so that the name looks different on the tag. So I'm going to say NPCA reception. Save. We'll go like that. There we go. NPCA reception. I'm going to beat this one with a stick and edit skin. Go to URL. I'm going to grab the alternate one, which I think is the one I actually preferred. Okay, it's going to show me where it is. There, that's the one I wanted. Okay, and we're going to go NPCA reception again. Okay, save and close out. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to change their position. Okay, drop that by half actually. Done. Going to drop position by half. Done. Okay, face me, face me. Okay, rotation, lock. rotation, lock. Okay, now you need to be dropped. Here we go. Okay, and then we drop your position other half. Done. Now they're seated. They both appear to be on their seats. They both appear fine. I'll give them some dialogue at some point. In fact, they seem to be sitting in a dark spot. Those sea lanterns aren't bright enough. What can I do? I can put candles? No. They're lanterns. Candles would do it, but I don't want candles. Actually, did I keep the lanterns? No, no I did not. Not bright enough. Almost. G'day, mate. How are you? How's your week been? It's almost like they need a light directly above them. Where's my chain? I do have a chain. Don't do that. It's almost on top of him, and it's still too dull. Actually been a really, really, really stressful week. To the point I was contemplating not streaming here tonight, but no, I did anyway. Nope, those guys are good. Actually, they're great. They don't talk to you just yet, but they go NPCA reception, NPCA reception. One male, one female. Can't say we're not equal opportunity. Oh, it was just a shocker of a week. Next week, hopefully it's going to be better. Don't know how it can be worse. But, yeah. Glad I got the streams in last night and today, and been chopping some stuff up into getting videos published online in the third channel. Well, there's been progress in a lot of areas, but the day itself, the week itself, nah. To the point, I had some stuff I was doing today. I had to excuse myself early because it was just not working. So, stuff like that happens, though. That doesn't change their biting. Oh well, we'll stick with it like that. Now, they don't have interaction just yet. They won't talk to you, which is fine. I got to start filling in the levels above, but that's the main thing. Yeah, it is. Got to stay consistent. And the funny thing is, so whilst the just chatting streams don't seem to be getting a huge amount of traction, I mean they're getting traction, which is the important thing. it wasn't until I started slicing them up and putting the clipped videos into the third channel that it um, really started making a bit of difference. But see, the problem is, look, there's lighting right in front of them, and it doesn't seem to be changing the light quantity on the block, whereas I'm lit up, so I couldn't tell you what's causing it there. And I mean, I can't, unless it's in the, there we go. Let's go light level 10. Ah, yeah, in a section I don't normally look at. Okay, visible, visible at night, visible, 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 visible. Yep, all good. Yeah, we're going to ignore that because we don't actually talk to them. Can open or close the pass door, attackable, pushable, push entities, use nether portal, silent. I put a kit. I don't know if you've seen it. There we go. See, nice and bright. It looks much better. I don't know if you were watching last week. In fact, I got to show you this. You'll find this funny. Head all the way back to. In fact, the first hour and a half tonight, I basically gave whoever was watching a server tour, which was me avoiding doing work, to be honest. So you come through here. Okay, right. So you remember what the nether portal looked like on the nether hub side. It's now very, very, very different. We've got ourselves a train station. Got ourselves our old style destination board. So if we want to find where people hang out and haven't connected their bases yet, haven't put their portals in, got ourselves a cafe with our booth seating and our bench setting, counter setting, looking out over the trains, the pizza oven and everything else. Come back out this way again. So yeah, this used to be where the NPC shop was. Now, I'd set this up, and here's your ticket booths. Yeah, one's closed, shutter's broken on that one. And here's a queue of NPCs with their gold nuggets. She won't talk to you. This kid here, I gave him all sorts of dialogue, and it proximity activated. And so tonight, as I came through the portal for the first time, he would not shut up. So I'd obviously set the proximity wrong. And it's just like, as soon as you walk out, walk back in again, it reactivates. And I'm like, seriously, I thought I turned that off. There's like 3 places I hadn't turned it off. Turned it all off, now he's shut up again, which is good. But yeah, so he's there holding on to mums. They were all facing the right way. But the idea, now that I've done all this, and ignore you for a second, you come through, now you're back outside again, you've got your rail lines. So this is basically, this wall here was the back of the initial NPC hall, and so that line is exactly untouched. These ones I've basically looped around from their original line, and then here is the original hallway with the thing. So if you go straight through there, you end up back at the portal. But I've looped them out and around so that you've got your proper your proper platforms, and it looks like a fairly bog standard Aussie major city outdoor train platform. So yeah, your 3 main lines, 2 platforms on each. You got your seats, your garbage bin, that sort of stuff. And so what happens is, if you've got no idea where things are, you come in, you check your destination board, get your little newspaper stand there, bit of greenery to make it look pretty. You check your destination board, you walk over here to this dude, have a chat, Okay, you basically, if you don't know how it works, explain it. You purchase a ticket, a gold nugget for a ticket, show the ticket to the conductor, they'll give you the minecart, and then you chuck the minecart down on the line, and away you go. So basically, it's a nug for a name tag, which is your ticket. Come over here, here's the conductor. Okay, if you know your platform, I'm not ready to travel. Right, come back and chat where you are. Okay, here's my ticket. So a ticket for a minecart, and then ticket, what ticket? And then basically explains it again. In fact, I need to change you so you can be seen. Nope, that didn't work. Maybe I need to make you a bit brighter. Same for you. Okay, that's better. Same for you. Right, so that makes sense now for someone standing in a little bright zone, even he's got his proper names and stuff. So yeah, that's the idea. Now if you've got your own minecarts, just ignore all them, walk straight through. And these are set up properly. So what you will do is you plop it down on the first one, because it's a detector rail, it'll light the powered rail up, and as soon as you push forward, the powered rail will catch you and throw you forward with enough velocity that you'll catch the next detector powered rail set, and away you go. Same for over here, same for the other one. And then as you're coming back in, this will throw you forward, but because that's unpowered, it'll brake, it'll act as a brake, and then you'll stop. And then there's the buffer. That's the word I couldn't think of last week. It's a buffer. And then basically you stop, get out, grab your minecart, and it's even got the gap. So mind your gap type thing. Yeah, I put a fair bit of effort trying to work out where I needed to carpet so that mobs don't spawn. Everything else is a bottom slab, and it's all set up. Yeah, I had the design in my head. It just took a while to get set up, to actually get it to fit. And the problem is, because that's a bottom slab, you can't put seats and stuff down. So yeah, your kitchen, your cafe, with your pickies of your food and stuff. Yeah, it's took me 3 or 4 weeks to build, and then I had to work out how to do this. I had to redesign a bunch of areas, redevelop this space, and make it. Yeah, I enjoy the feel of it actually. I think it works quite well, and yeah, it connects and makes a lot more sense. And then I've been working. So yeah, I've been working on that. Feeling fairly proud with how that turned out. I've got a couple of things I need to do to it though. Now, last time you saw the Department of NPC Affairs, did I have it fully finished interior? Okay, so this is the thing that I don't get with the NPCs at the moment. Sometimes they forget what they were supposed to do. Like their positioning gets stuck. Now, I think part of the problem is they're supposed to, their look, where's their rotation objectives look. They look at player. They don't follow, they're not supposed to follow, they're good. So I think that's the problem, is that they were... See, she follows, she looks, but she shouldn't be moving her... Okay, her body's still moving. Okay, yep. So if I reset, if I lock her rotation in, and then take her look actions away. Hopefully they do. I did, so I had all the interior set up. Yeah, it's just, I went back in because I haven't actually been in on the floors for a while. As soon as I opened the door, I'm like, ah, yeah, yeah, yuck. But, so I've got everything set up. I spent, I was late getting on last week because I was chasing down all the owners of chasing down all the skin files that I'd been using. So there's going to be a receptionist here. She'll give you a book and quill. You go around, ID which, basically you'll talk to each NPC. They'll tell you their skin file ID. You write that in the book. Mail the book to my NPC affairs address, and then I'll go and go and set that NPC up. If I could make these flicker, I would, just to add to the terrible ambience. But yeah, there'll be a second book that they'll have, and that book will have basically the IDs of each of the skin files, who the author was, etc. So you can go and get it. So if you wanted to load those skins into your own servers or your own games, you can. But yeah, I've been avoiding coming in here. So I just why commit yourself to this? I mean, I spent so much time building it, and I felt so dirty the whole time I was doing it. I mean, even coming up with the idea for down here, where you've got the compactuses with the files and stuff, it's just like so wrong. I feel that that's the sort of idea that should be punished. It's not a good idea by any stretch. I mean, I've had a couple of people, mainly Aussies and Kiwis, say that it's the worst thing they've ever seen because it is so realistic for what it is. And I am dead set amazed I was able to come up with something that worked so well using just the basic block palette. And the initial design I had actually was one block higher, but it felt too airy. It felt like there's too much space. And whilst, yep, the real office ceilings aren't that low, the feeling of claustrophobia is right. It just feels right. So I brought it down one. And yeah, it's just, I'll be putting some minor decorations in. It just, when I finished doing it, I'm like, I don't want to come back in and look at this. I mean, so yeah, there'll be a couple of secretaries, reception staffs per floor, and then they'll be filled out. And the fact that every floor is a carbon copy of the floor below, and you've got that horrid brutalist design, and there's no way to get to it from the nether. Even the toilets look miserable. These are the same. It's only a unisex toilets down here. But did you see that? I'm not sure if I showed you that. You might have seen them. Like, I put proper effort into it. So, tech areas, break rooms, horrible grey carpets, ladies' toilets with lots of cubicles, men's toilets without a cubicle, with one cubicle. It's just, yeah, I'm impressed but frustrated with myself for having worked out how to do that all. So I've got to populate that with the NPCs. The last thing I had to do, I had planned before I started building the other houses and stuff. I've got these guys in, which is the main thing. I think that was the look thing that I had turned wrong way. So hopefully they'll stay that way. If not, there's a bug in the NPC thing. But the idea is you'll come through here, there might be some people sitting down waiting. You come up, have a chat. They'll tell you what floor you need to go to. G'day, Dead Brain, how are you? So you'll come in, have a chat. They'll tell you which floor to go to, and you'll go to that floor, which is obviously set up by genre or era. And you just, oh boy, even when it's populated, I don't think it's going to look any better. But what I'll do though is I'll leave, when I put those other NPCs in, I'll leave their light levels low. Yeah, I mean the rest of the place is set up and it's the right light levels and everything else. But oh, I'll leave it low light levels. It looks and feels utterly wrong. And the idea is I've got the clone command saved so that as we add, so that'll be Roman, that'll probably be like medieval / fantasy. There'll be a cyberpunk level. I don't think I've got too many modern. I've got a steampunk. I've got a couple of steampunk. Um, but yeah, the idea is that as I'd say a Napoleonic or Renaissance, whatever, I can just clone the floors and each one will be a new genre going up. And so, yeah, this looks decent the way it is, but there are buildings of this design that are proper skyscrapers. And you can just imagine that going up another 20 floors. I don't know how many NPCs I'd put in it, but I mean, it works at 6 floors. 6. I gave up on putting, well, didn't give up. I decided not to put in a sub-basement. But, it's, yeah, well and truly in the worst place to go. The other thing I was going to do is I've got that house I built. There's a few others that I want to put in that I have designs for that, again, I've been sitting and waiting to put in based on the fact I've been working on doing server builds for everyone else. So there's a few places I want to put things in. Like down here, there's only one player way down here. So I could put a couple of houses in like down here or in the forest proper, that sort of thing. You did? For your lappy or for your desktop? Because you had your rather weak laptop that you had for a while. I don't think that's denying anything. Does that mean you're going to start streaming then when it shows up? Or have you just used up all your apprentice money? Speaking of apprentice money, how did your interview go? Right, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to have to go and beat those NPCs. Right, you. Objectives. Look. I told you not to look at me. Rotation is not locked. Right. Okay, objectives, that should be no look, right? For whatever reason. Rotation in Y. There you go, lock. Done. That kid is in the right spot, holding hands. They're in the right spots. They all look good. You did tell me your graphics card was dying. Now you also told me your lappy was pretty rubbish. Right. Okay. I didn't know you were going for PowerLink. I knew you were going for Energix. Well, that's all right. I mean, if they haven't told you that you can't reapply in the future, then hey, maybe it's just a case of not this year. but you'll still get a chance at it. Oh, yeah, I mean, well, good luck with the card, obviously. Not too bad, thanks, Deadbrain. Yourself, how have you been? How's your week been? Right, we're going to put you in there. In fact, what we might do is you guys are going to stand there and have a chat to each other. You're going to stop looking at me. Okay, objectives, look, stop looking at me. Okay, we're going to rotate so you can look at each other a bit more, like that, and you're going to be looking at the board as well. Okay, and your pose, we're going to give your right arm. In fact, if I go over here, no, positions, right, we're going to go pose, advanced, right arm is going to come forward and point at the board, and you're going to pose, advanced, no bending of your arm, is there? Like I can't make you, like, put it up to your chin. Not really, and we'll change your skin. Alright, okay, two conversations going. I can do two conversations at once. Okay, local businesses. Now, you're headed down the path of a commercial Sparky, though, aren't you? Commercial or industrial Sparky. So that means you'll be heading into manufacturing, or like workshops to maintain their gear. Well, I mean, weeks and for Deadbrain, weeks where not much is happening. Well, they're good. I mean, well, sometimes it's nice to have lots of things going on. Other times, a break is good. Certainly, you don't want things to be super exciting every week. There you go. I didn't realise that guy had funny looking ears. Did I use that character? That guy, I think. There you go, those two guys chatting, looking at the board. Alright, I'm going to go put a couple of people in down here. I need a chef. You'll get there at some point. I mean, you got to think of your age. I mean, talk like, I don't know when your dad got into things. I mean, he may have been able to walk in as a junior apprentice, but as you said, they're only taking one at the moment. There's likely always going to be work. It'll come down the pipeline, and I'm sure they're continuing to employ fully qualified tradies, people who've got their ticket. Oh, what I can do? I can put kid. I'll turn that into a kid. So we're going to pose you as seating. Leg goes out. Leg comes up. Leg goes like that. Oh. And then we need to change your position down one. Are you sitting on the floor? You look like you're sitting on the floor. Alright, so you face me, that's it. Hit you with a stick. Objectives, stop looking at me. Rotation. lock that. We're going to scale you down. 5.68. Like that. Now, please tell me you're still sitting on the ground. There you go. You're a kid. Let's give you a kid skin. Refrigeration's a hard word. Just say fridge. Right, okay. So he would have been a domestic Sparky then, before moving up. So, like I said, give me a sec. Let me just... Right, so at a point, I played football with a bunch of guys who were tradies. A couple of them were welders. A couple of them were pharmacists and doctors. A strange thing, didn't know they played football. But a couple of welders, but quite a bunch of Sparkies. And they were all industrial Sparkies. And they were doing their TAFE courses and stuff. They were, oh, how old would they have been? Early, mid-20s. I don't think any of them had their tickets beforehand. But the city they lived in had a reasonable amount of industry. Now, they weren't being employed by the major industries like their car manufacturers and stuff. No, they didn't. They weren't being... I don't think they were employed there. No, I don't think they were employed there. But there was enough manufacturing at a decent enough level that they had more than enough heavy line equipment and stuff to work on, and yeah, get their tickets up that way. Now, where I'm living now, I don't think there's the industry for anything like that. In fact, I don't think there's any heavy industry that I can think of. No. So it all depends on being able to live in a location where you have that sort of industry. Now, in the subsequent years when Australia got rid of its car manufacturing industry, the ability... I'll put that guy in as the chef. I don't know how much of their work disappeared. I don't know how many of them stayed employed, because if the car industry disappeared, then obviously the big providers and stuff vanished, and they had nothing to... I'm going to give this guy a bowl. He's going to be a beggar. I don't have a bowl. Do I have a bowl? No, I don't have a bowl. I've got a bucket. Give him a bucket. Nah. So, yeah, I mean, there were a couple that had... I mean, there was tyre manufacturers for a while, which I didn't know were even in the city. I didn't know Australia even had a tyre manufacturing capacity. But they shut down as well. There's certainly a lot of car-related supply chains, but so the guys at that level were not, unless they'd gone like a cadetship, like you're talking about with Energex and whatnot. Unless they'd gone like that with the car manufacturers, they probably weren't getting a look in. There was one or two who worked the manufacturing line though. But there was, like I said, there was plenty of other manufacturing in the city, in the region, to support. But yeah, sadly, when the car manufacturing disappeared, quite a number of those other industries disappeared as well. But that said, I've been to places which, I'd be honest, if I'd sat down and thought really, really hard about it, I still couldn't tell you that those industries existed. Like in Western Sydney and Fisherman's Bend in Melbourne, there's a couple of sites there that are actually airplane manufacturers. They don't build the entire kit. They're part of Boeing and a few other people as well. But I remember being taken on a visit to visit this whopping great big autoclaves where they baked composite materials for aircraft manufacturing, and so they were making. G'day, Ash. They were making tailplanes for 777s, I think, and it was like they're manufacturing them here in Australia in some random shed. Well, it's a factory, but a random shed in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't make sense. You wouldn't think that that'd be the case. I'm gonna call this guy Chef. Yeah, but that place was high tech. It was obviously lots of electrical stuff, but clearly it was a high tech manufacturing um, setup. But again, it was just a case of if you knew people in the industry, it'd be like, oh yeah, this place does this and this place does that. And I mean, some of those things, unless you know someone, you're probably never going to get a look in. It's like the number of pharmaceutical manufacturers. I had well, there was one that it was actually near where I worked. It was like they had the big chimneys, the massive tall chimneys, because they were doing chemical work. And someone explained it to me one day. It's like I was oblivious mainly. I mean, next door to it was a chicken processing plant. I knew that. But no, this place, nondescript, big, big. I mean, from the outside, it looked like a big industrial shed, sort of, with some whopping great big chimneys coming out of it. And I was like, yeah, whatevs. Uh, but it was one of the main pharmaceutical manufacturing plants in the state. And I'm like, that thing? And because it didn't look like they had like mass chemical storage or anything like that, but no, turned out it was one of the major manufacturing plants for pharmaceuticals. And I'm like, ah, right, well, that'll teach me not to be ignorant of things and not to make assumptions about what happens in various places. And depending on where you want to go and things like that, even, I mean, just trying to think, defence contracting, what do they build? They built the patrol boats, previous patrol boats up in Cairns. They're building shipping in Perth and South Australia. They're building submarines previously in South Australia. They built integrating stuff in aircraft in Newcastle. And this is civilians, not military people. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff there as well. And I guess once you get your ticket, there's always the mines. Fly in, fly out for the mines. They'll still be digging things up and needing things. Alright, if I could give you a bowl, or get you to hold something so it look like a sign. No. So I've got ticket sellers. I'll put someone on the seats out here, that's alright. Actually, no, we'll go back over. Now, I want to find out if my NPC still turned around. Chances are they did. How's your week been, Ash? And they turned around. Why did you turn around? Because you weren't even facing that way when I put you in. You've clearly turned to face something. You tried to follow me in the nether. Oh, well, nice that the temperature's dropped. We actually had some pleasanty days, followed by some rainy days, and apparently we're scheduled for almost freezing tomorrow morning, which for late September, well, not unexpected. The fact I have to get up early and go do some work outside with the dog, yeah, that's a problem. Plus, it's a Sunday morning. Who makes anyone get up early on a Sunday morning? But yeah, no, it's his assessment tomorrow, and then he goes off for a snip in a couple of weeks. Yes. Well, hang on. Can I have a picture? Ooh, 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 ooh. I might. Give me a sec. I'm going to make some. I will put a picture up. I'm very proud of my dog. I won't show the other dog type because that's actually a bit identifying because they are so unique. They are so unique that the hang on, let me see if I can interact. There we go. What we have is a furry little idiot that, okay, can I scroll down? Please let me scroll down. Why won't you let me scroll? Oh, come on. Actually, what I'll do is I'll hide that and I'll put it up over the top of the Minecraft. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just stare over there. Put some tunes up so people can have a listen. Image. There we go. Huh. Why didn't you let me do that? 2 seconds. I don't know what my screen's going to do, and it's an ad. All right, back in. Yep, no, we went that way. All right, so to answer your question there, Ash, yes. Oh, sorry. All right. I have a furry little idiot who's about 9 months old now. That is one of those. In fact, he's probably doing that right now, terrorizing the other dog. In fact, he looks almost exactly like that. In terms of his markings, though, he is sable-coated. He's a sable-coated rough. So yeah, he looks like that. He's a bit skinnier in the waist. His waist is like really narrow. But yeah, working dog. Rough collie. So he's 8 months old. Hang on, September, 8.5 months. Not as much as other collies. They're a bit more skittish, a little bit more reserved type thing. Cute as a button though. Only got a few brain cells. Very limited number of brain cells. I keep telling people that he's only got 4 brain cells. He had 3. 2 of them he uses to learn his commands and do what he's supposed to do very well. And occasionally he turns the 3rd brain cell on to remind us that he's still a puppy. And then the 4th brain cell, which he's recently earned, is also to tell us that he's still a puppy. Um, and he's kind of vicious, kind of very, very, very smart between the eyeballs. Um, but needle nose. So he's actually going in for he's doing his obedience slash training. He looks like that. That he looks like that. Um, he's doing his obedience slash training work at the moment. There are actually some YouTube videos I had found of basically what he's like. In fact, there's one of uh, and he comes out of a show dog family, so he knows how to strut. It's a Merle. I've got to find where it is. Let me go YouTube. Learn how to bring the video up. I don't think it's going to put audio through because I don't have the audio connected, but there's a couple of them. Most of them are. They're really really smart. So your border collies, your black and white ones, are really, really, really intelligent and hardworking and fast and stuff like that. These guys are a fair bit more reserved. They're a bit more chill. Um, please show me the normal video. It's going to make a liar out of me. Yeah, they're not guard dogs by any stretch of the imagination. um, there's a video of a girl who's got one in I'm guessing like uh, Russia or somewhere like that. He's very talkative. He has a yap. He yap, 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 yap. Doesn't bark. He yaps. But he's hilarious. Comes out of a show dog family, so knows how to strut. Oh, these things are cute. I saw this one. Now we got him when he was 14 weeks old, so he's a bit older than he should have been. And yeah, so there's 3 border collies at the dog training, and very smart dogs. They're very hardworking. So they go for a bit of a play afterwards, and it's very, very obvious the border collies have a lot more work. They run a bit harder. They work a lot harder, whereas he's a bit more precious. Has his mane coming in, has his ruff coming in, really quite good. Yep, this was one of them. So he arrived kind of looking like that. I mean, that was about the age he showed up, and eventually he's not going to be like he's only at 8 months at the moment for us. So this guy's got his in I think New York. But yeah, silly little thing when he rocked up. Hated being left alone. Came from the litter a couple of weeks too late, so probably had a couple of neuroses and issues with things. That's a Sheltie on the left. But he's uh, yep, having a poo. Ours eats boxes like this too. Loves these needle nose into things. It's kind of funny though. He's taught the older dog how to be a puppy again, which is good because the older dog was sort of in mourning after his sister passed away and was getting old, but is basically now up and playing for about an hour a day, which is good. Certainly great. Yeah, he sleeps like this occasionally. Weird thing, but no, I'd always wanted to get a rough after I'd had this other breed, and it so happened that when our girl passed away, I went looking for breeders because to get our other dogs took 2 years after finding a breeder. So I thought, oh, I'll find breeders who are still breeding. This one had 3 in the litter that were like she couldn't get rid of them, and so we grabbed one of them a couple of weeks later than he should have. So he missed out on some development. But no, he's catching up. So yeah, tomorrow he's doing his assessment for intermediate. type obedience work. A lot of the American ones have these tipped ears, the folded ears. Ours doesn't. His are dead straight. But no, he's got the sable. He's got the little white tip on his tail and everything. So yeah, the big long pointy snout and everything. But he is very intelligent. His herding is coming out, but it's when he's happy and he's walking and stuff like that, you'll see the show dog in him come out, and he's purebred too. So he basically straightens up, does the perfect posture, and just struts. And it's hilarious to watch him go from just walking along to all of a sudden you feel a tug on the lead and look down, and he's just strutting. He knows how beautiful he is, like that, except proper positioning. And yeah, he won't go into the show ring. We promised the breeder that. He's been getting his snip next week after next. In fact, ours has a much narrower waist on him. That looks a bit fat. Looks like he's a little bit overweight. So yeah, he's got a very narrow waist on him. But yeah, when they're in the dog run at training with the border collies, they herd like crazy. But because I don't know whether he's just a silly dog, he bounds kind of like that at the end there. But he bounds along. He doesn't run. He bounds. And so you've got the collies going flat chat, and then he's hopping along next to him. But the longer coat means he can't keep up. He can't run for as long. He overheats. But he's very personable. So whereas our other dog is 23 hours a day outside if he could, this guy is 23 hours a day inside if he could. But yeah, lovely dog. Bit of maintenance on the coat, but very smart, but at the same time very stupid. So yeah, no, that's if I pause there. Yeah, he's the rest of him looks about the same, but no, his waist is a lot thinner. I think it's because of the family he came out of. So yeah, that's is there another? There should be another one I'd seen that came up on my other account. Um, that no, I can't see it. Here it is. So yeah, this Russian girl um, trained or wherever she lives um, started training hers really early. Ours doesn't do the party tricks or anything. He does his normal commands and stuff, but he's a collie, so he knows what to do. Like he doesn't weave like that, and he's too big to do that. He'll knock people over. He's definitely a chaser and a herder though. But they do that awkward phase. So the next one is possibly going to be another rough. I was surprised at how roughly how easy it was to get one, but also that most people who see them think that they're shelties. Yeah, that's the position he does plenty. The downward dog stretch. Yeah, I couldn't get him to do that. He doesn't have the balance. He'd be terrified. But I think he lacked a bit of personalisation, lacked a bit of interaction with people and stuff. So he's a little bit skittish to begin with. That's an agility course. So he has to be shown things 3 times. The first time you show him, he's like, nah, don't want to do it, terrified of it. The second time you show him, is like, yeah, okay, maybe. And then the third time you show him, he's like, no, I've always done this. What are you concerned about? Just let me do it. Yeah, downward dog. So yeah, he looks exactly like that right now. He doesn't do that, won't do that. He'd probably look at me funny if I asked him. I wouldn't want him doing that. But he's going to be undergoing some special training as well. Yeah, that's not behaviour you want to encourage. So yeah, they do that quite a fair bit. I don't know that I'd want to encourage him to do that either. But yeah, no, once he's done his obedience work, we won't put him through agility or flyball or anything like that. He's got other jobs he has to do. But yeah, that's probably the closest in terms of behaviour and attitude to what we've had. But yeah, that narrow little head doesn't have a lot of brains in it when he's little. And he pulled out of his collar a few times too. All right, we're going to drop back into the game then. But yes, no, good herding dogs, very intelligent. Just got to wait for his brains to catch up to his body. But it's the sort of thing with our other dogs. We had to. Oh, it'd take weeks of effort to get a command to lodge in, and whereas with him, it's like one or two times, and that's it. Well, in fact, really only one time, and he understands, and he's good. So uh, it's incredible. I love him. But yeah, I've got to be up at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to take him. And the funny thing is, he's got to have his paw held to go to the toilet. So you put him outside, tell him go out and do your business and stuff, and he reappears at the back door, looking miserable because you're not out there with him. And so you bring him back in, and he poops on the floor. It's like, what? You're supposed to do that outside. Next time, take him outside. You go with him. Wheeze and poos. Yep, got it. Next time, you outside by yourself. Comes back in, wets on the floor, and it's like, really? And it's like, if you're not out there basically holding his paw, he won't go to the toilet. It's like, ah! But no, I've heard people describe them as Velcro dogs, which he's kind of demonstrating that habit. But no, he's a good dude. No worries, mate. Catch you around. Thank you for dropping in. Good luck with your studies. Good luck with your employment chasing as well. I'm sure you'll find something. All right, I hear rain. Nice, mate. Well, thanks for dropping in. Have a good time. So yeah, my weekend is going to stay busy tomorrow. Yeah, I'm fairly confident he'll pass his stuff. He's only 8 months, but it depends on how much he wants to muck around. A dog's still a dog at the end of the day. You can't stop them from being a dog. Yeah, is that thunder? Don't think it was thunder. Nope. Alright, so next task. I've put NPCs in out there. They turn around, so that's the problem. And I reckon if I come back through here, which I was going to do, these guys didn't turn. He did. They're right. They've turned. I was like, what are you doing? And he's turned around. Alright, now this is confusing me. Objectives, they're not supposed to look. Rotation was locked. Maybe I'm just going to have to set them up to allow them to move and stuff. Well, that wasn't locked in though. That might have been my problem. That could have been my problem. Right, okay, well I'll let that guy turn around. He can stay put, but he's going to be like working and you go up and buy food off him. In fact, being a railway station, it's going to be expensive food. It's going to be rubbish food, but expensive. Alright, so that's populated. And that looks okay. They're looking in the right direction. Okay, I think that's going to be alright. What I might do... Now, that's what I was going to do. I was going to make myself... I'm going to decorate that floor yet. This floor was going to be... I'm going to make some... oh, what timber did I like? No, not cherry. Acacia, I think. I'm going to make myself a desk. So, do I want to look... Well, there's not much to look at. Upstairs is the bedroom. I mean, I've got views. Or maybe I put the bedroom downstairs, but that's actually... 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Alright, a big desk. In fact, what I can do is I can make it like it's like that. I'm going to give myself a 2-seat over here. It's going to be like a leather seat, which means probably more like a dark oak. I'll put in a mailbox. Like make it over here. I'm going to say NPC affairs. Right. There's some colour blocks. We're going to make ourselves a blotter. Blotters are green, aren't they? Although I don't know that anyone's seen one in years. Green with like a leather border. Don't know that I can make a leather border, but we'll go with that. And I'm going to put like a 2x2 picture up behind me, which is normally in... It's not a functional block. I thought it was a color. No, it's in... It's in... Tools and utilities? No. Functional blocks, I was right. I'm going to go with 2x2. I don't like that. I think I like the void. Better. All right, I'm gonna grab some bookcases. Bookcases were there. Actually, the bookcase over here like this. There's a window. We'll put a carpet down. Definitely put a carpet. We're going to go, got a blotter down. I'm going to red and black downstairs. We're going to probably go for like a blue and white. Have to be a check. Or blue and other blue. Like a light blue. Kind of works. Now candles. Candles are right there. We'll go for blue. We'll go flower pot. Pot, 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 pot. I'm going to put a... What flowers do I like? It's like the lily of the valley I like. Like that. What else do I want on my desk? I'll put down a invisible item frame. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put one there. And book and quill. Like that. Okay, books, books, books. What should I put on the other side? Are they banner patterns? If I hang those on the wall, is that going to look like a parchment? It does. Kinda. Not very well though. See if I use the... How high is that? That's just over a block. Push it into a slab? No. I honestly don't know what to put on it. Like I've decorated everything else I've put down. Maybe a jukebox. I don't need an anvil. There's one downstairs. Cartography table. I will take a cartography table though. I don't need an enchanting table. I've got one of those downstairs as well. Don't really need tools. I don't want a beacon or bell. Come on. Was it light blue? It was light blue that I missed. Get a bit of storage, jukebox, cart table. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be like supremely overthrown. So that's black and red downstairs. I'm going to go, say, red and white up here. Purple? Do I have purple? I do have purple. So if I keep the red as a theme from downstairs, and then use the blue because that'll provide the connection to the next upstairs room. Now we've got floral set up. This is supposed to be like a royal box, so we want this definitely to be decorated. We're going to put a moss block. Nope, not green wool. Okay, we're going to leave that one. We'll put flowering, flowering, flowering. Question is, what would I put there? I mean, we've got the seating. Maybe some more seating? It's a jungle. Like, I'm going to put like a 1, 2, 3, 4. And I got rid of my moss block, didn't I? I did. It's the sort of thing where I'd need, if I was going to like develop this out more, the guy that's standing there as a conductor in the railway station would probably be like a page for something like this. And I could dress up the guards because I can put them in armor. I can. I mean, they're fine as statues at the moment. Although I don't know that that middle row setting works. I mean, it works okay with the idea that that's a... Yeah. I don't know what to put in the middle, though. That's the point. That looks cozy. That feels cozy. Actually, I could put a second mailbox next to it. I could, and move the one out from upstairs. And go for... I don't think I'm going to be able to put a carpet down there. No, I'm not. Hmm. I have candles. I did have candles. Candles there will go yellow, I think. I'll put some storage in. Really? I think the barrels actually work a bit better as a like as a cupboard type thing. You just don't know whether to put things on the wall. Where'd my flint and steel go? I had a flint and steel. Right, let's go. That, yeah, that just looks wrong. And so does that, because I put a hole in it, cobbled deep slate. Yeah, I mean, I've got armor stands downstairs. I have positioned and posed armor stands and stuff before. I mean, I do have the office down there. I'm not going to put a desk in. I'm not going to put anything in there. It feels a little unbalanced. See, that's the problem. See, this is fine. You turn around, that's just not right. Uh, 3x3 won't fit in. I mean, if I took the torches out, you idiot. Why won't that fit? That is 3x3. No, it's 3x4. Well, that would explain why it won't fit, because I was not looking at it right. Again, see now the flooring seems offset. Ah. can do is I can run it like this. I'm going to run light grey into the corners. I'm going to face it that way. And so I do bring it back to a 2x2. One, steps out one. So that's in the middle. It's a better size and shape. Nope, that still doesn't work. That's an improvement. Not going to say it's great, but it's definitely an improvement. Oh, okay. We're going to be calling it fairly shortly. I got a big day tomorrow, so or today now that it's today. Yeah, actually, if I put a whole bunch of I could set them up as like a wardrobe. Is have a whole bunch of armor stands lined up with a. Yeah, I might have to be downstairs, so on a wall that doesn't have windows. I got to think about what I got to do down here, because this definitely needs to be improved. I mean, out here is fine, very bland. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Better than it could have been. All right, we will call it a night there. So, put some tunes up, different tunes this time. All right. Big thank you to everyone for coming out. The regulars, the first timers, the chatters and the lurkers, and everybody in between. The channel wouldn't be the same without you, so thank you very much for being here. We got a fair bit done tonight. I would say in line with what I was expecting. Didn't know what I was expecting, to be honest. Where has that gone? Down there. Got it. Okay. So yeah, next stream is tomorrow night. We have Infamous Second Son that we're playing through at the moment. We only just started playing it last week, so second session. Hope it goes all right. We have a giveaway tomorrow as well. So if you want to get in on the giveaway, head for the Discord. You'll find a channel there called Giveaways. there's a blue button. Click the blue button, you're automatically in the draw. And this week it is a copy of Demon X Machina. So good luck to everyone with that draw. And there'll be a new giveaway starting. That's where the dog picture disappeared to. I wondered why I couldn't find it anymore. It was stuck in the corner of the screen, and I just found it. Oh well, too late for that. Yeah, so that's tomorrow. I've published a whole bunch of videos on the on the tertiary channel, as I've clipped out of the Just Chatting streams. So if you want to see those and work all out, that'll be available over there. We've also been... What have we done? My brain is not working right now. Yeah, and the schedule. If you want to keep on top of the schedule, there's one over on Twitch, but the other streaming services don't seem to support being able to publish a schedule. But if you want to keep on top of things, check the socials. Mainly Twitter and Insta. Messages go out both of those before each stream, indicating what we're when. And the Discord eventually picks up those and also punches out a message when the stream goes live. So certainly a place to hang out, especially with the giveaways as well. And it also lets us know when some of our friends over there are streaming as well. All right, so yeah, keep an eye on the YouTube channels as there's more content being published pretty much every day at the moment. So I'm finally getting the swing of what I need to do with the upgrades and stuff. But other than that, it's a very good night from me to all of you. And we'll see you all again next stream.